All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our class on the endocrine system. We are happy to have all of you with us, and for those of you that aren't able to join us, we are grateful that we are able to record this class. So the endocrine system is a big one. It does so much for our bodies. It does a lot more than I ever realized, and it's taken some time for me to learn about it. So the endocrine system is basically a chemical messenger system that helps to send messages regarding hormones, when to release hormones by the internal glands, and these help to regulate certain organs. And so we think of the thyroid as being the big one. And to be honest, for the longest time, I thought the thyroid was really the only thing that was part of the endocrine system. But the more I've learned about it, the more I realize there's a lot more to it. The adrenal glands are also part of the endocrine system. We also have the pineal, the parathyroid, the thymus, the male and female reproductive organs. So anything, if you think of hormones, that kind of helps us with what else is included in the endocrine system. So basically what the endocrine system is it's regulating growth, development, metabolism, sexual function, reproduction, tissue function, sleep, mood, and other things. So if you think about our hormones and you think about as our hormones are fluctuating, we are having some issues with our mood, we're having issues with reproduction, we're having issues with sleep. And so all of these things are truly originate in the thyroid or in the endocrine system because of the hormones being sent out, or the signals being sent out. So let's see. So some things to remember is we want to eliminate these toxins, because it's these toxins that are creating adrenal fatigue. And so when our adrenal glands aren't working properly, then it can't work with the other organs and the thyroid to be able to communicate properly. So we need to really eliminate these toxins and make sure that we are being very careful with what we are putting on our body as well as in our body. So also making sure that when we are drinking water, where is our water coming from? What kind of container are we putting it in? Making sure that we are using some type of glass or stainless steel. Also making sure what type of foods we are eating, staying away from our genetically modified foods, staying away from foods that might contain pesticides or any other types of chemicals that can be harmful. So moving more towards the organic and trying to eat as many organic foods as we can, whether it's grass-fed meats, whether it's organically grown fruits and vegetables. Also, when it comes to fish, making sure we're being very careful on where our fish is coming from. A lot of our fish in the United States comes from farms, and so it's important that we're looking for wild caught fish. Staying away from unhealthy fats, the vegetable oils, the margarines, and really focusing on those healthy fats, making sure we're getting some avocados, making sure we are getting some coconut oils if we're able to have that. Also, making sure that we're not overeating or under eating, making sure that we are getting to the point where we are controlling our portions so that we are not overeating, and then making sure that we are eating until that we're satisfied. And sometimes that's hard for us. Eliminating sugars and refined carbohydrates is very important. Making sure that we're managing our stress. I know that during the school year, I tend to be more stressed, and I tend to find that my hormones are out of balance a little bit more, and I have to work a little bit harder to balance them. Right, getting some regular exercise is so important. And a lot of these things that I've just mentioned are so important for all of our body systems. But making sure that we are getting some type of movement in, and it doesn't have to always be that hardcore exercise. It can just be simply going for a walk for 30 minutes or using the stairs versus the elevator. Drinking lots of water, and making sure that we are using our essential oils in our water, or making sure that we are using the hydration drops that Young Living also has. So that's just a real quick introduction. I could go on forever about the endocrine system. There is so much information out there. It was really hard just to condense it down to a small amount of information. So if you want to learn more about it, I suggest you Google it. And you know, there's some great books out there as well that can be helpful. All right, so Sean or Sonia, who's going next? Sean is going next. All right, so I'm going to pin Sean to the video. All right, Sean, go ahead and unmute yourself.
All right.
And I will mute myself.
Yeah, so the endocrine system, it's so big, right? And I think what we mostly think about is hormones and how to balance our hormones. And we as women, I think we have more fluctuation in our hormones because of our cycles. But you can still need help with your hormones once you are finished with your cycles. So once you're into menopause. And I'll get into that in a little bit. I'm going to show you some of the resources that I use in order to learn about the endocrine system, just so that if you're someone like me and who likes to have her own resources, you have them. A good place to start is this Now What book. There are body systems in here. Oh, Sonia has hers too. And one of them is they have endocrine for women and then also endocrine for men. And when Kristen was talking about making sure you drink water and putting oils in it, the very first oil listed for both men and women was actually lemon vitality, which I did not think of as a endocrine oil. I will say that before I started with using essential oils, my emotions were all over the place. I had really heavy periods, lots of cramping. I was low energy, mild depression, and just starting to use oils every day. Sonia always said to me, because she said, "Are you using your oils?" And I was like, "No, I don't have a need to." And she's like, "Just put them on every day. Just pick 3 oils, put them on every day. You will notice changes, I promise." And I thought, oh, she's crazy. But we are, but anyway. So I did that. I picked a couple of oils and I started using them, and Stress Away was one of them. And Stress Away has cedarwood in it. And cedarwood is amazing for the pineal gland that Kristen just talked about. That's in the back of your brain here, kind of like right in the center, you know, and go all the way around, just like right in the center right there. So that's the pineal gland, and cedarwood is amazing. So Stress Away is in your starter kit. Definitely use that every single day. Things that I noticed after using my essential oils consistently, 3 oils. I never did the 3 times a day, but I did apply them in the morning. I noticed things like I had increased energy. I wasn't as moody. And one of the big ones was, I don't know about you guys, but I watched the Facebook groups and I would see certain things always come up. People were always talking about certain things. Ningxia Red, of course, was one of them that eventually I was like, I gotta try this Ningxia Red. What is everybody talking about? Juice. How is juice gonna help me with energy, right? But the other one was Progessence Plus. And Progessence Plus is one of those oils everybody was talking about. Every woman should use from 9 to 99. It has progesterone in it from wild yams, and it is a serum. It's actually not an essential oil. It has essential oils in it, but it is a blend, and it's a serum. And I used this for an entire month. And I don't know about you ladies and your cycles, but for me, I could always tell when my period was coming because I became a raging, literally, like I just felt like it was in me, there was rage coming out every single month right before my period would start. And I remember the very first month that I used this for an entire month, I got my period and I was like, huh, I didn't even know it was coming because I was happy. I wasn't angry. I wasn't always like the kids were like hide in their bedrooms because I would get so angry at just the smallest little things. So Progessence Plus is really huge. Oh, I started to show you. Okay, so now what is one book? Another book I love is Lucy Libido. There are amazing oils in here, not just for your libido, but also just for the endocrine system. But when you help the endocrine system, you help your libido. And the other one is Taming the Dragon Within. Really amazing book, talks a lot about what our bodies need, what our endocrine system needs in order to function properly. And when Kristen was talking about getting out the toxins, it made me think of the xenoestrogens, I think is how you say it. It starts with an X. And xenoestrogens are in so many things, but plastics is a main one, and a lot of the chemical cleaners. So the chemical cleaners that most people use, the plastics that are in everything, all of our food sits in plastics. You really have to go out of your way to either transfer whatever came in plastic into glass or purchase in cardboard if you can. It really will make a difference. And I know it sounds so silly, but especially if you have boys or men in your house, all of that plastic just messes with their testosterone levels. So it mimics estrogen. And so the more plastic that we have in our lives, all the water, drinking bottles of the water bottles, especially if they freeze or get too hot, that xenoestrogen goes into the water and then we're drinking it down. So you really want to be careful. And that's why Kristen said, make sure you're drinking out of stainless steel or glass when you're doing your waters, especially with essential oils, because again, they're going to pull those fake estrogens into the water. So Progessence Plus, if you want to know just a little bit about it, it was created by a doctor named Dr. Purser. Purser. If you Google him, you will find his FAQ sheet. And that FAQ sheet alone is like gold. There's so much good information in there. I'm someone who likes to have the information, but I'm also someone who's like, okay, I'm skeptical, but I'll try it and see. And so I just tried it and saw at first. And then when I read the fact sheet, I was like, oh, okay, this makes sense. So Progessence Plus is micronized human bioidentical progesterone derived from wild yam in a base of vitamin E derived from palm oil. It has copaiba, frankincense, bergamot, clove, and peppermint. And those oils are in there to help assist the body to assimilate it as quickly as possible. So it's extremely potent because of that. No other progesterone on the market has that ability to get into the cells as quickly as Progessence Plus does. I was without it for 3 days. I had misplaced it. I was going to put some, I don't know if you guys saw, but I posted, what would you give as an engagement gift? And I thought about giving this, a sample of it, because I didn't have an extra one. I would have given her a whole one, but I didn't have it. And I was going to give her a sample of mine, and I changed my mind and did something else. because everybody was suggesting stress oils, and I thought that was really smart, so I did that instead. But this could be considered a stress oil. And I lost it for 3 days, and I could so tell the difference. But when I found it, it was almost immediate relief of like, ah, okay, I can function. It's great for teenagers because it helps with cramps and headaches during their periods. One important thing is if it gets worse, because it did for my oldest daughter, her cramps got worse, her headaches got worse, they need more, not less. So try to get them to use more. She's pretty stubborn, so she stopped using it altogether, but what are you going to do? You can't force them. So hopefully you can explain to them and they'll understand. And then women also that are in menopause, you do create estrogen in the lining of your gut. And so you can become estrogen dominant, which is sometimes why we women, as we age, I don't know, like the fuse gets shorter. We get angrier a little faster than we used to. It's because we're estrogen dominant. So it's important to add in the progesterone from the Progessence Plus in that instance. And you can use it while you're pregnant. You can use it. It's actually indispensable for women who have had miscarriages. It's safe to use while breastfeeding, and it might actually increase your milk supply. It's great for women who have had breast cancer, actually, because Progessence Plus increases progesterone, and typically most breast cancers are have estrogen dominance. So definitely you want to speak with your doctor about that. But I know there are people who shy away from progesterone when they have had breast cancer, but it's definitely something to speak to your physician about. All right, and it is not for men. Definitely do not want to use this on men. It will decrease their libido and inflame the vascular system. So we don't want to do that. All right, I think I go into so much depth about Progessence Plus because quite honestly, if there's only one oil you could get for your hormone system, that's the dog. She says hello. This would be it for me. The next one would be if you're needing some estrogen-like properties, then I would look into clary sage. You can do lady scleral, you can do sclerescence. Sclerescence was actually created to be a dietary supplement. So if you're looking for something to use for dietary, sclerescence, and then lady scleral is topical. Let me grab my other book here. I know, Lexi. Okay, so lady scleral, sclerescence, and clary sage can help improve your mood and your wellness. And the other one is dragon thyme. So dragon thyme is great for balancing hormones, and it's great for that time of the month also. I didn't ever need dragon thyme because Progessence Plus was all I ended up needing. But there are times, I do know other people who that time of the month, it really helps with their cramps and just help to have lighter periods. Another thing that I use for that is, it's called the Balm, and it's a DIY recipe. It has helichrysum, cypress, and geranium. Before I had those three, the ones that came in my kit were Panaway has helichrysum, and Joy has geranium, and then I just bought cypress because that's a $20 oil. So if you have those other oils, you can use blends instead of just the single oil. And then my next favorite oil is Endoflex. If you suffer from any kind of sluggishness at all, it matches the tree. Endoflex is amazing. I put a roller bottle on it because I roll it on my adrenal glands, and those are in your back just above your kidney, so it's really easy to get to it that way. You can also roll it on your thyroid, on the back of your neck to get to your pituitary gland and your pineal gland. I know Sarah Johnson teaches her kids to roll it under their armpits also because there's It's easy to uptake in there, and there's a lot of lymph nodes in there. It helps for teenagers that are especially grouchy, you know, that hormone craziness that teenagers go through. This is your like best friend for that, boys and girls with the EndoFlex. It regulates metabolism, growth and development, tissue function, sexual function, reproduction, sex, or sex, sleep, and mood. And it's great for the thyroid, great for the kidneys and the liver. So between Progestins Plus, clary sage, or sclerosant, I feel like those three kind of go together. Like clary sage, sclerosants, or lady scleral. Just pick one. Try it. See what you think about it. And if you don't like it, then you can try the next one. But I've used them, you know, like I'll have a bottle of one and it'll run out, and I have a bottle of the other one, so I'll switch. I haven't noticed a difference between them. But one thing you will notice when you add clary sage, anyone who is in their later years that may deal with dryness, the clary sage can help with dryness. So when you apply it, you'll notice that it has more of that estrogen. When you are cycling, in the middle of your cycle, when you're producing an egg, you have more estrogen, you're more charismatic, more desired by the opposite sex. And that's because your estrogen levels are high. So that's where the clary sage can help with that also. And of course, we don't want to leave out the men. There is Shutron for the men. It's wonderful at helping to balance their hormones. And also Mister is great for anyone over 30. Those two oils would be my go-tos if I had someone who was struggling hormonally for men. And there are so many more, but I, you know, like as Kristen said, we could have like a 4-hour class on this. So I think I'll stop there, and we'll take some questions at the end. And now Sonia's gonna take us over with supplements.
Yay, thank you so much. Just really quick, my journey with Young Living has been almost 7 years, and Progestins Plus and EndoFlex have been my go-to. I never really had a regular cycle unless I had medication. And when I joined Young Living, I went into Young Living more for stress, and then found out I can help with other things. So sometimes things can happen quickly. Like Sean was saying, she used it for 30 days, the Progestins Plus, and she saw a night and day difference. Sometimes it can take anywhere from 3 to 6 months because it is hormone related. Sometimes your body, you're putting something foreign, even though the cells can absorb it. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer. So for me, it took me 3 months, and I have had a regular cycle all on my own without any medication, using Progestins Plus and EndoFlex for 6.5 years, you guys. It's like a miracle to me every month. I know most people don't get excited to have a period, but I do. Because I never could have one on my own. I always had to get some kind of drug to make me bleed. And they always said if I didn't, then I could have chances of getting cancer. So I'm so grateful for Progestins Plus and EndoFlex. I use it daily, and same thing with Sean. If I don't use it daily and miss a couple days, my period delays that quickly. So it is something that you want to set a timer or something to help you with that. And I am glad that my mom has taught me to always use glass. I always liked drinking out of Tupperware. I liked the feeling of it. And my mom's like, girls, drink out of the glass. And guess what, Mom? I now drink out of a glass all the time because I know it's better for me. So I do agree with that. And I do drink lemon water every single day. I didn't realize it was for our endocrine system as well. This is one of my favorite topics just because I do deal with thyroid disease. I got it when I was in a very intense time in Paraguay, South America, probably malnourished, under a lot of stress, a lot of change, feeling very lonely, and my body went into shock, and I put on 50 pounds. And I've had thyroid disease since. It's a pretty easy, I mean, it can be a tricky one, but I'm grateful it's just thyroid issues, like seriously. But all of Young Living has really benefited my body. And so the supplements that I'm going to talk about, just kind of like Kristen and Sean was saying, we can talk forever about this, but I'm going to share with you ones that I hold dear to me and pray that they can help you as well. So there is a supplement called Thyramin, and this one Gary Young designed. to support our thyroid gland, all right here. Many things that we are exposed to in our environment, like we were talking about, affects our thyroid. And our thyroid affects, so a lot of times I can sense if my thyroid's off, you get more anxious. Maybe you get a little depressed. I mean, it affects all of our hormones. It affects, what did I do? I gained 50 pounds quickly, like that. Within a year and a half, I was up, had no idea, but I was up when I came home from my mission, up super high. It can be a challenge to lose weight, or you gain weight quickly. So that affects it. Well, this Thyramin, you take one capsule at nighttime, but everyone's different, okay? I've helped many people over the years. Sometimes people do better with it helps with energy. It helps with your emotions. Like I said, I can tell that I get anxiety because my thyroid's off and I'm like, what's wrong with me? I'm in a calm environment. So anyways, there's all those things that a lot of people are undiagnosed, to be honest with you, and they don't even know that they have thyroid issues. So this Thyramin, helps me with that. Now, at the beginning, I did have to take one in the morning and one at night to get me regulated, even using my Progestins Plus and Endoflex. Now I'm only on one, and I just take it at nighttime, and it helps me consistently, like I said, with my emotions, my hormones, and I know it helps me with my cycle as well. So I love this one. I was going to say, it helps with the metabolism, your energy, your body temperature. So if you're struggling with body temperature, this is not just for people who have cycles. I'm talking about menopause as well. What is Thyramin? It's a supplement that you take. It's a capsule. It's not too thick. It has a blend of glandular extracts, has herbs in it, amino acids, and minerals and oils. We always talk about the powerful essential oils helps your body to receive it better into its cells. And that's what makes it such a powerhouse of a supplement. Now, sometimes, like I said, I have friends who've taken the Thyramin and they get more hot flashes, kind of like what Sean was saying with her daughter. So it's like, you've got to give it time. And it was hard to go through, to be honest with you. I couldn't stand it. Some people wake up through the night with Thyramin. It keeps them up at night. So I always say, try and switch it to the morning. So it is a tricky supplement. It's one that you have to be willing to work with and be patient. Young Living has taught me to have a little bit more patience with my body and to trust in the process, in the system. So there's Thyramin. Another one that has literally saved me with my thyroid issues and my emotions is Super B. I know we've talked about this in another class, but Super B is a powerhouse of energy, and it will make your pee every single day bright yellow. So it's sunshine in the toilet. And I promise it's not, I always thought, oh my gosh, my body didn't absorb it. It has nothing to do with that. But Super B with Young Living has B1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 9, and 12. It's a super comprehensive supplement that everybody needs, and your body cannot store it. So you have to take it every day. You guys, it's super inexpensive. It helps me so much, not just only energy. I'm kind of naturally like a high energy person, pretty consistent. But the energy I'm talking about is my emotions. I'm more consistent with my emotions. I can go super high and low quickly if my thyroid's off. So Super B has been amazing to feed my thyroid the proper vitamin B that my body can absorb to keep me more steady emotionally. So that has been helpful. And this is for everyone. Everyone needs vitamin B. But it's also known as, where we deal with our Super B, when it affects our hormones in our adrenal glands, it's usually when we're dealing with our fight or flight. Well, ever since COVID, I have slowed my life down, and I now know what a calm, I mean, I still have 5 kids. It's still busy and crazy. Like tonight, you know, people ask us, so what's it like with 3 kids? And I'm like, it's still crazy. It's loud and crazy. And it's just, I wish I could videotape what we were doing tonight. But the fight or flight that I was going through, I didn't even know that I was, you know, dealing with that. And maybe you don't know either, but there is stress level, there's fight or flight that our bodies are designed to deal with, but not all the time. So we're needing that Super B to help replenish that, so our adrenal glands, so we don't go into that adrenal fatigue like Kristen was saying at the beginning. So I love Super B, super inexpensive, very comprehensive, and has some essential oils in it. It has nutmeg and clove, which are some of my favorite essential oils. when I'm feeling tired or sluggish, I'll take a drop of nutmeg and swab my cheek. And I'll do that with clove as well. It's just a boost of energy for me. Gary Young, I feel like in every blend, he either has cinnamon or clove or nutmeg. He's all about energy, let me tell you. So there's that one. And then Ninja Red. I know Sean said, you know, we talk about Ninja Red. We are doing a Ninja Red challenge, and I invite all of you to do it. Buy 2 bottles or 30 sachet packets. Just give it a try. Like, why do we always talk about this? But it's because I'm going to specifically talk about for the endocrine system. So we start January 1st, and we would love for you guys to join us. But Ninja Red helps keep your blood sugars more in a normal range and steady. And so why would that help, you know, with our adrenal? Well, our energy levels, if you're eating sugar, I'm sure during Christmas season, you have a high and then you drop. With Ninja Red, you won't. It will keep you more steady. I have a friend who was pregnant and had to do blood sugar tests. I'm like, drink tons of Ninja Red and see if it changes. It never changed. Her blood sugar never went high. So I love this for people who do struggle with, you know, just energy levels or blood sugar issues that will help keep you more steady, which helps with your adrenals as well, in that normal range. Okay. Another one that is one of my favorites, and I only actually use it in the summertime when I have all my kids home, but they've been home since March. So I don't know, I guess I should be using it every day, but I don't have it right now. It's called Cortistop. So you think about it, stopping the cortisol. A lot of times when we're in that fight or flight or high cortisol, our bodies will tend to gain weight. We tend to go into this high mode. We need something, and this could be PMS, it could be menopause. All of Cortistop is great for all of this. This is for all ages of women. But what the Cortistop does is help support your adrenal and your endocrine function. And it keeps your cortisol levels in a normal. Let me tell you how to use this. And again, it's trial and error. Hormones, you guys, come on. We're kind of complicated creatures. Sometimes I try and figure out, why am I so moody today? And I tell my husband, he's so like this, you know, I'm like, I'm just a complicated creature. Anyways, hormones are fun and exciting and we get to explore ourselves, but Cortistop really helps with that, keeping you more even keeled is what I have found. So I take it in the summertime when I was in that fight or flight. You take it every day for 2 months, okay? Then they recommended get off of it for 2 to 4 weeks. Then you can start it again if you still feel like you're needing it. And so it helps bring you into that normal range, which helps give you more energy and strength. And that's what it did for me. If I started putting on weight or I just feel like, oh my gosh, I'm going crazy, this is what will help bring you down. Okay, that one's an awesome one. And if you're struggling with blood pressure, this is a great one. I never have issues with my blood pressure, but sometimes people are dealing with that. They don't even realize how stressed they are. They don't even realize what fight or flight life they're living, and they need something to kind of bring them down to see that. So Cortistop is awesome. Oh, I can go on and on, but I talked about Ninja Red, Thyrama, Super Beast. Oh, there's so many others. I'll just mention them, and then you guys can do some research. This is like my favorite book right now, The Supplements by Jen O'Sullivan. I brought it up at her last class. She's phenomenal. She keeps it simple and so easy to read, to learn about. But there's 2 more that I would highly recommend is PD8020 and Endogize. I don't use them, okay? So I don't have a huge testimony of them. If someone after this class can talk about them, but PD8020 and Endogize are kind of similar, and maybe someone can explain it, but it just helps support the signs of aging, like hair loss is for Endogize, wrinkles, mild mood changes, and reduced energy. So Endogize is a great supplement to take on a daily basis, same as PD8020, and I don't have experiences of these ones. But again, it's another supportive supplement that you ingest. And it has pregnenolone in it, which is a precursor to help produce your estrogen and your progesterone. So it's all this hormone stuff. But this one will help you balance that one as well. And I don't know which one is better to take. So that one I would have to do more research on it. But those are 2 other ones. And I'm gonna, and Megagize is another great one too. But I'm gonna stop because our time is up. So thank you for joining us, and then you can stop the recording and then we can have question and answer.